Rain came down over the old school in a steady, suffocating sheet, turning the courtyard into a dark, rippling mirror. The building itself groaned under the weight of the storm. Its wooden beams swelled with moisture, creaking as though something inside pressed outward, testing the strength of the walls. Down the western corridor, a narrow line of ceiling lights flickered sporadically, casting thin bars of illumination across the floor. The puddles gathering near the classroom doors reflected the light in fractured shapes that trembled but didn't match the rhythm of the storm outside. At the far end of the hall waited the restroom. Its sliding door rattled gently against its frame, pushed by a cold draft that seeped through from the inside. The air here was colder than the rest of the school, carrying a faint scent of mildew and something sharper like the tang of whetstone or old metal left out in the rain too long. Inside, water pattered steadily from an unseen leak, forming thin streams that snaked across the tiled floor. They converged at the foot of the last stall, collecting in a crescent-shaped pool. Every so often, the water quivered as though disturbed by something just beneath the surface. The single light above hummed its dying song. It flickered in erratic pulses, briefly plunging the room into darkness before stuttering back to life with a weak, grey glow. Shadows shifted unnaturally across the walls, slow-moving, almost cautious, as if waiting for the light to fail again. The door of the last stall was soaked. Condensation crawled along its surface in patterns that defied gravity, droplets moving upward instead of down. They merged into uneven trails, spiraling and branching like veins beneath skin. The wood absorbed the moisture greedily, darkening with each passing moment. Then the trails began to shift. The droplets thickened, sliding sideways to form the faint outline of a curve. The shape smoothed itself, pulling more moisture into its center. The outline grew more distinct with every second, the lines tightening, sharpening. Two hollows formed, dark, deep, watching, even without moving. The eyes seemed alive, shifting subtly, following invisible motion just beyond the walls of the stall. Light glimmered inside them like metallic reflections on still water. Below the eyes, drops gathered into a long, narrow ridge that extended downward a nose, forming in liquid relief. Then came the mouth. The droplets aligned into a thin crescent, widening slowly, deliberately, until it stretched too far. An unnatural curve carved into the wood. The face pressed outward. The wood bulged faintly as though something behind it pushed gently, testing the barrier. The surface warped, bending inward with each pulse of the storm. Tiny cracks spidered through the paint, spreading from the points where the moisture gathered the thickest. Footsteps appeared beneath the door, wet, bare, facing outward. Water pooled around them, rippling as though disturbed by invisible movement. The feet remained still for several long seconds, too still, too perfectly placed to be left by any living person. The storm intensified. Wind rattled the windows. Thunder rolled through the building, shaking dust loose from the ceiling. The restroom light flared, casting harsh white brightness across the tiles. And in that moment, the face transformed. It swelled forward, stretching unnaturally across the wood. The eyes sank deeper, their reflections rippling like mirrors disturbed by a submerged hand. The mouth widened further, splitting at its edges, the wet lines peeling apart as the shape pushed closer, closer, until the wood threatened to split. The light buzzed once more, flickering violently, shadows dancing in chaotic patterns across the stall. Then it went out. Darkness flooded the room. Rain hammered the roof. Wind howled against the windows. The floor trembled with a subtle vibration. Footsteps, slow and dragging, moving across the room. Water splashed and pooled, its sound shifting in shape and direction, as if something walked through it. When the light sputtered back to life, the stall door was unchanged, dry, still, blank. But the footprints remained, leading toward the entrance, then stopping abruptly, as if someone or something had stood there watching. Outside, the storm quieted suddenly. The pressure in the air lifted. The building exhaled, its wooden beams creaking back into place as the moisture retreated. But on the mirror above the sinks, a single streak of water appeared, long, thin, slowly sliding downward, and for a brief second, the reflection shifted, showing a face behind the viewer's shoulder, pale and stretched, watching with hollow metallic eyes that blinked once before disappearing completely. If you like these stories, please like and subscribe.